Hello, guys. Good morning, and hope you're doing great from wherever you're watching us from. It's another episode of PMTV Kenya Sports. Remember, this episode is brought to you by playmaster.co.ke. So we will be analyzing on whatever happened over the weekend. A lot happened in the field of sports, in terms of football, and also today we'll be touching a little bit of whatever was happening in Kenya in terms of golf. So to start off in golf, we had Magical Kenya Open that was taking part in Current Country Club, and we had only one Kenyan who was taking part. His name was Njoroge Kibigu. So he won prize money of 900,000 shillings, and the president gave him an extra 5 million. So he'll be representing Kenya in South Africa for the next golf tournament that will be happening. And as a country, we are proud of him, and congratulations to Njoroge Kibigu. Now to the world of sports, a lot was happening, European football, local football. So let's get into it and digress further into our local football. So on Saturday, we had a couple of good games. We had Shabana facing on Tusker. Remember, Tusker had a new manager, so they apparently lost in Gusii, that's in Kisii. But it was an own goal from their own defender. He was trying to deliberately clear the goal, but apparently it ended up as an own goal. So that was 3 points for Shabana. The Glamour Boys, they won at home, but we can't say that's a win. It was an own goal, but yeah, the 3 points counted. Then we had our next big clash. That was FC Leopards versus Posta. FC Leopards dominated Posta in a very good and a dominant first half. Goals from Kelly Okonji Madada and also goals from their captain. So they won 2-1. It was a pretty good dominance, and so FC now are sitting 6 points behind Gor Mahia. Still, they have a game in hand, which they'll be playing this week in Kasarani versus KCB. So it's a hard game for them, but how I saw them play, I think they'll end up dominating. And then we had a very big clash on Sunday. But on Saturday, Murang'a Seal faced on Bandari. At some point, Bandari took the lead. Then Murang'a Seal made a comeback. It was a 2-1. Then in the dying minutes of the second half, Bandari pulled a comeback again, and they won that game 3-2. I think Murang'a Seal need to work on their set pieces. If you look at the kind of goals they conceded, it was a little bit of laxity, and they couldn't defend their set pieces. So that's where the loss came from. So I think it was their first loss after a 5-game win run. Now they'll be facing Tusker on Wednesday at the Waguru Stadium. That's in Meru. Remember, Tusker have a new manager. I think tactically they a little bit struggled versus Shabana because he had not lasted a week. But now he has time to prepare, so he'll be facing Murang'a Seal. Both teams are wounded, so you don't know who will emerge as the winner on Wednesday at the Waguru Stadium. And then on Sunday, we had Kenya Police. They faced APS Bomet. That was a National Police Service derby. It ended in a draw, but the playing conditions were not that much favoring both teams. It was a little bit rainy in Nairobi. The pitch was a little bit flooded. So tough playing conditions and a 0-0 draw, as I had predicted. Both teams have not been performing well, but APS have been dominating in some while. So remember, Police now have 12 games played, 1 win and several losses in between there. So it's not a good season for the champions. And then we had Gor Mahia play versus KCB at Nyayo. As I said, the playing conditions yesterday in Nairobi, they were not favorable for any team. So the pitch was a little bit soaky, but Kogalo managed to get 3 goals in the first half, courtesy of Morrison. Then the next goal was Sharif Musa, and then Kapen sealed the 3 points. They dominated KCB in all aspects. I didn't see KCB threatening in any way. And now they have 46 points, sitting at the top of the table, having played a game extra from KCB, but in terms of goals, they are doing much better than the other teams. So it was a dominant display from Kogalo. This week we have a couple of good games. We'll be digging into them. Then we'll be seeing and we'll be giving you our predictions. Always to remind you that this episode is brought to you by playmaster.co.ke. Now we dig further into European football. A couple of good games happened. We saw Man City dominate Newcastle. They won that game. O'Reilly scored a brace. They are chasing Arsenal, who are sitting in the top of the table. So yesterday we saw Arsenal beat Tottenham Hotspurs in the North London derby. Goals from Eze and Gyökeres both scored a brace and dominated Spurs, who are not doing well in the league. Remember, Tottenham fired their previous coach and now they have Igor Todo as their interim manager. He started his campaign with a loss. So Arsenal, they are doing great after dropping points twice versus Brentford and also versus Wolves. Yesterday they really dominated Spurs. Now they sit at the top of the table. They are still 5 points clear from Man City, and we'll see. We never know who's going to win this league, but they are sitting at the top of the table. Today's clash is United will be facing Everton. Remember, United lost versus Everton in the first leg. Everton had a red card. They managed to score a goal, and they ended up winning that game. So today will we see Carrick boys continue the good streak that he has had. Remember, he has coached 5 games, 4 wins, 1 draw, and today's the 6th game. We don't know. So let's meet in the next episode. Let's always get sporty. But just to remind you that this episode is brought to you by playmaster.co.ke. Don't forget to check our pages and follow us, subscribe to our YouTube page, and see you on the next one. See you guys.